What's good with YouTube? You already know Big Flocka with a convict's perspective, and I'm smashing, dashing, sliding on through that little bit of energy. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all things to help support this channel, as well as hit that bell notification for future fire content. So this question's been asked over and over again, man. Do I think the Goshen Massacre incident, based upon the fact that one side was Surenos and one side were Nortenos, is going to create a flood of violence out there in the streets, man? Now, first and foremost, if you notice, the media has really tried to advocate that, using the term Surenos under the Mexican Mafia and Nortenos under the NF. So to me, that's kind of like they're directly trying to push that narrative, okay? First and foremost, I think that this matter right here, anything could be escalated a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It happens on the streets all the time. This was more of a family-based thing. They were more orientated in the drug game, as far as my knowledge. And these dudes right here, there was a feud between both these sides, right? Whether it was sanctioned, you know what I mean, by the higher ups, which I barely doubt, right? I think if anything that these dudes used this situation to try to capitalize off a beef that they already had. And my main issue with it is that these dudes were reporting days after this happened. The police already knew who these dudes were off the gate. After the incident happened, they already had the tapes. You know what I'm saying? So that was my main concern with the whole subject, is they tried to observe who these dudes were reporting to. And I think that this brought a lot of more attention. Now, with everything that's going on in the system, there's things that are going on between the big homies from both sides that a lot of us don't discuss, don't put out there for reasons that be. It's not really our business to discuss, but there is a business relationship, not just inside prison, but out there on the streets. Okay, I'll leave it at that. You know, I think if anything that the higher ups, the brass, have already got ahead of everything. They've already pretty much probably dealt with this, from my understanding. Without putting any current business out there, I've already heard that whole area is under reconstruction right now, based upon this incident. This should never have happened. So I think if anything, it's going to be upon how the NF deals with this issue. And I think the NF is always going to do the right thing when it comes to this. Baby killers and whatnot are going to be dealt with. And there's no link between these guys and the higher ups behind the walls, right? As far as if there was any orders or directives. Now, from my understanding, this group was pretty much freelancing upon their own, whether they had connects or whatnot. I'm not sure of that. So I'm pretty sure everybody's dialed in with something of this magnitude. At the very least, maybe the regiment commander is going to get in trouble. Of course, he's going to be in trouble. You guys forget that Beto Palomino, and they had that one hit that happened over there in Modesto. Everybody got deemed, including him, over that. Okay? Someone mentioned something about Stockton, that a 3-year-old got killed in the process, something that they're all still good. I don't know about that. If that's the case, I've never heard of that, but it is what it is. In this case, there's going to be some serious repercussions for all three of those involved, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? Take that to the bank. Everybody knows it. That's what's going to happen. Those are facts. Okay? Now, as far as anything to escalate, I think maybe it depends on how tight in these dudes are out there on the streets. And from what I'm seeing and hearing is, yes, they were Surenos traditionally, but they weren't like hardcore in the mix out there. Not as far as gangbanging. They were more business orientated. So if there's going to be any escalation, it's going to be within the group that they align with, potentially. But like I said, it looks more like this could have... It looks like this was a situation where individuals went rogue and made a decision and weren't thinking through the process. You know what I'm saying? Now, not to say that these dudes shouldn't have been hit, jacked, or whatnot, right? But the consequences of some of the people that were fucking taken out was unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? That's the nature of the game, and so this should be a reality for everybody to sit there and look at. Now, do I think that there will be future conflicts based upon this? No. There's too much at stake right now. You know? The rapports and relationships, from my understanding, have been built and established to where it's a lot better. It doesn't mean it's perfect. There's moments of fucking dispute, but there's a lot of communication. You know, if a certain individual from either one of these groups does a bad business, still it's going to get reported. It's not going to become personal, and each group has been dealing with their own. You know what I mean? There's been incidences where one side has backed each other's play. There was a situation where a Sureno got rushed at a certain prison, and some Nortenos came to his aid. It was on a non-designated program yard. So there's been a lot of incidents that have occurred and bridging the gap within North and South relationships. And a lot of it has to do with the amount of X and Y groups and so forth that are out there nowadays. So I think both groups know in order for them to have any type of longevity, right, especially in the prison system, with the reintegration and non-designated program yards, there has to be some type of form of relationship. And it's a trip that I heard about the reg laws that were implemented in there, that both sides have reg laws that they jump for each other if there's an incident. That's shocking to me. You know what I'm saying? The streets is a whole nother beast because Southsiders funk with Southsiders, right? Down south. Upstaters and homeboys are going to go, Northerners are going to go at it as well. You know, sometimes Northerners go at it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this is going to be looked at in everybody's eyes as a matter that should have never happened, that hopefully those that did it are going to be dealt with. And that's it. Now, if this group wants to take it out on this person's family and whatnot, they go back for the family feud that's been going on, so be it. There may be those, if they're in deep and in line with their neighborhood pretty well, that maybe there may be some function out there. There may be some friction, some tension, some shit may kick off. That's just, it happens, especially with something this serious. There's going to be those out there that are going to feel a certain way about it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it just depends on how each group's big homies address this issue. You know what I'm saying? I don't think either side would ever condone these type of behaviors. We know how fucking the big homies from down south dealt with that one incident years ago. I look for the same type of consequences that happen in this incident. Now, there's going to be a little bit of animosity. There's still animosity, but things are getting a little bit better. I think the end of all hostilities will remain. I think they both see the value of it, and creating a unified front allows them to get much more done. You know, and I think people are seeing it for what it is. I talked to homeboys that were there a part of this, and they liked it. A lot of them, believe it or not. A lot of them still had the friction with the upstaters, but at the same token, man, there were certain homeboys I talked to that had more fucking red on red crimes that were occurring out there in the streets than actually North and South. Like I said, a lot of these groups traditionally don't know each other, and they've been at war and get off for so many years without knowing each other. And the more you start to interact, the more you start to fucking have relationships, the more you start to do machina, spreads, and whatnot, the more you're going to start to see reap the benefits of being united and how much more similarities there is than differences. You know, I was told by a correctional officer that used to work at the shoe up in the Bay that there was these two Surenos and one Norteno. They were next to each other, and that they would bust down workouts together. At the end, when they were done bird bathing, the Sureno would either send the spread over to the Norteno, or the Norteno would send the spread over to the Sureno. All this stuff was already in the works years before. We were already having better relationships when I was there. And I used to think that too. I became cool with cats from 18th Street, from fucking Sim Valley, from Winter Gardens, from fucking Pico, from fucking Norwalk, 18th Street, all these hoods. I became cool with a lot of these cats, where I'd have respectful conversations, man, where they'd be like, hey, hook me up with a hyena or something like that. Man, all right, here you go. You know what I'm saying? And we just have discussions about life. And I started to see that, hey, this father's pretty cool right here. I mean, yeah, they have a little bit difference of beliefs in geographical locations, but he's no different than me. When we're sitting there talking, we're able to conversate. You know what I'm saying? The same things, the same fucking, listening to oldies and drinking that Corona on the weekends. Same thing I used to do. Cruising down the street, downtown San Jose, they over there on Whittier. You know what I'm saying? Same type of lifestyle, man. And when you start to look for more similarities than differences, you can build better relationships, man. And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be fucking little skirmishes that occur outside the streets. It's hard enough for anybody to get along with anybody out there the guy is. So, that's not going to change. But I anticipate that the relationship behind the walls will be maintained, because I think that they've been able to see two things. They could be that much more of a stronger force having relationships together. One, right? Two, they see the benefits that come from it. You know what I'm saying? It's all about money at the end of the day. They wasted so much time fighting over tables and fucking, phones and fucking weight piles that, what I'm saying? Everybody sees that there's enough for everybody. You know what I'm saying? All any group wants is an equal share of the pie. You know what I'm saying? That was the belief of the Nortenos in the beginning. Now it seems like, hey, we can get the pie, we can run this shit together. Because when it comes to the dope game, all that shit, Raza in general run that shit in California. Period. They have the best resources, whether you're fucking from down south or up north. Those main groups are going to be the main ones producing any type of fucking drugs or any type of criminal rackets. They're going to control it. Nobody else is going to be able to fucking sit there and infiltrate these areas. They may be able to temporarily, but eventually someone's going to be paying taxes to somebody. Those are fucking facts. There's no way around that. And so with all this going and territories being established, it's kind of like how the government kind of established some of the families back in the days that became cartels. You know what I'm saying? You do this, you do that, we could do this. There's relationships where there's certain individuals working down south, up north, and woo, woo, woo. Interstate compact is for real right now. I've been told this through numerous individuals. I know about certain meetings that took place where there was people from up north and down south at these meetings. You know what I'm saying? I know about certain people going down south to get what they need to get, and then being caravanned out by certain groups with security upon them when they leave. That shows me change. Now, it doesn't mean I promote any of that shit, but I do promote the unity behind the walls because regardless, at the end of the day, it gives people a better chance to conform to a different way of living if they choose. See, that's the only option that needs to be given to each one of these individuals in these groups. You should be given the opportunity that if you want to change your life, you can change your life now. You don't got to worry about having to stab this dude or get off in a riot or whatnot. There's enough people that are part of these groups that fall in line that are willing to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? So let people do their time and do what they need to do, you know? And for the most part, that's what's occurring. So I don't anticipate any extreme bloodshed that's going to happen behind the wall. But if there is any instances that do occur, I'm expecting swift justice and an investigation to occur and those be punishable for whatever acts they commit. You know, people in general, whether you're from up north or down south, are going to comply with whatever directives the big homies give. You're not going to hear about homeboys that are going to just question anything or, you know what, nah, I'm not going to go by this policy. Fuck these dudes. No, they're going to confirm. They're going to conform basically to whatever's being told. So, in general, I don't anticipate any future bloodshed. Maybe on the streets a little bit, but that's going to happen from time to time anyways, man. You know what I'm saying? It could be red on red, blue on blue, red on blue, whatever it may be. It's going to happen, man. You know what I'm saying? But once everybody gets locked up, I think everybody recognizes that this is the game, this is which way we're operating, and this is why we're operating this way. You know what I'm saying? Either you're with it or you go against the grain. You go against the grain, you have two organizations with a whole bunch of foot soldiers that are going to be ready to deal with you. And that just is what it is. With that said, this is my opinion on this matter. I've had numerous people ask me, what do you think is going to occur? There's people who want to stir the pot in the comments. Like, fuck no, North Day would never do this. Nah, Sue would never do this. You don't make the rules. You know what I'm saying? Get locked up and tell me what they tell you. Then you can come on this channel and you tell me exactly what happened. Because everybody I've been talking to that's there, this is what's occurring. Does it mean certain people don't feel a certain way? Yes. There's some people that are saying, fuck the other side. But are they going to go against the grain? No. And I think the overall majority see the fucking benefits of what's occurring. With that said, this is Flacco Convict's Perspective. I'm gone.